You're listening to the Better Relationships After Baby podcast, where I believe your relationship can be stronger than ever after having a baby. It just takes tools, conversation, and support to help you get there. I'm Chelsea Skaggs, certified life and relationship coach, mom of two, and survivor and thriver of tough relationship challenges after babies. I'm committed to helping couples just like you improve your communication skills, connection points, and personal confidence so that you can have the life and family you've always dreamt of. Now, let's get to today's episode. Welcome back, mama friends. Today, I want to talk to you about something that I believe will radically improve your life, specifically if you're a stay-at-home mom. But if you're not a stay-at-home mom, keep listening as well, because you're going to be able to apply some of these mindsets, some of these practices, and some of these aha moments to your own family experience as well. In the next few minutes, I'm going to be making the case for you to make a job description, specifically if you are a stay-at-home mom. And this would also apply if you are currently on maternity leave, or maybe you find yourself as the primary parent, the default parent, the one who is naturally taking on more of the responsibility. It might sound foreign to have a job description for your time at home, but if you think about it, when else would you just take on absolutely everything without clear expectations? You would not be doing this at another job. And when we get down to it, a lot of the resentment, disappointment, frustration, overwhelm, and loneliness that moms feel comes from not having clear expectations, not feeling like they've achieved anything because their to-do list is always a mile long, and not having adequate time and space to reconnect with themselves. So first, let's talk about why stay-at-home moms can bear most of the responsibilities. First, it could be that you put pressure on yourself to do it all. Maybe you have this ingrained idea that you have to do it all. You have to take care of everything with the baby and the house because you're not working or you're not bringing in an income. I often hear moms say that they can't do something for themselves because they're not earning an income. But in case you haven't heard, there have been a lot of studies done that show what the salary of a stay-at-home mom would be if they were paid. Now, these studies have a very wide range, but I think no matter where it would fall in that range, it's a staggering amount. Some studies say that the average salary would be about $41,000 for an 8-hour day. Others say it goes up to $184,000 when you take in all of the different roles that a stay-at-home parent is often fulfilling. So if you find yourself putting pressure on yourself to do it all, ask, where does that come from? Is this a problem with your self-worth? Is this you feeling like you're not contributing outside of the home, and so you're punishing yourself by internalizing everything as your responsibility? Is this because of what you're seeing on social media when you look at other stay-at-home moms? Is this a comparison to the female mother role models you had growing up? Is this coming from your partner? Let's get clear about where this is coming from and why you might be feeling pressure to do it all yourself. Another reason that I see stay-at-home moms and primary parents in general take on an uneven amount of the load and feel overwhelmed and stressed and, again, resentful is because moms often want to control how things are done. And so I actually have a podcast episode a little farther back that's called Why Dads Aren't Helping More, why your partner isn't helping more. And this is all about mom's need for control. So maybe this relates to you, maybe not, but if you find yourself nitpicking or criticizing or commenting on how your partner does things when they do show up, then this might be discouraging them from stepping up and helping because they feel like they're going to get knocked down. So it's important that when we're building this teamwork together as parents, we let them stand a chance, especially for the fathers who are trying to step up to the plate and are trying to take on more of the load. A third reason that I see stay-at-home moms specifically become overwhelmed with all of the things there are to do at home is because maybe you don't know what else to do with your time, because motherhood has shifted so many things that you're feeling disconnected from yourself. And if that's the case, it makes sense that you would continue to busy yourself with all the particulars of home and baby. Now, in some cases, our partners and even ourselves have an outdated idea of the expectations of all the things that go into taking care of a baby and taking care of a home. If your partner has never been at home with the baby for a full day or at least a half a day to go through some of the needs and routines, first and foremost, please put something on the calendar as soon as you feel confident in doing that and you know that the baby's not going to be hurt and nothing tragic is going to happen in that time. And let them have the experience of seeing and feeling what all goes into constant care of a baby and a home. I find that oftentimes partners, specifically partners with stay-at-home mother partners, don't even understand what all goes into that. And we need to give them the opportunity to see that. It's going to change your communication. It's going to shift your expectations. Honestly, it's going to make your relationship better. Something else that might be happening is you're both comparing to stories of others. Maybe you are bringing in your own ideas of what the aunts and mothers and grandmothers of your own families did, and maybe it's different for the two of you. This is a really important time to talk about what you saw and what you internalized in your own upbringing and how that's showing up in your current partnership. We're also forgetting oftentimes how much has been lost over the years with the loss of the quote-unquote village and the move to a very individualistic society, specifically speaking here in America. So we know that a lot of the supports that have been available throughout the years are not so true anymore. We also see that a lot more people are living farther away from their families, which means less care and less help. And also, the parents in our lives are potentially working longer than they did before, or maybe they're still a dual working family. And so maybe the grandparents and the aunties and the uncles aren't able to provide as much help as before, which means that the stay-at-home mom is feeling the weight of not only those responsibilities, but also the gap in care and support that's coming from how much we're doing ourselves like never before. So again, I'm going to make a case for you about why you need a job description if you are a stay-at-home mom. Number one, I've already used these words: less resentment and more clarity. If you find yourself resenting your partner, or maybe your partner's resenting you because, say, for example, you are touched out and exhausted at the end of the day and not having the capacity to give them the attention they want, this resentment can go either way. Having more clarity about expectations and responsibilities and job roles in the home takes away some of that resentment because you have a more shared understanding. And I know it's not super sexy to look at this as a business transaction, and I'm not trying to take the natural intuition and love and connection out of motherhood, but sometimes we have to take a step back and make things a little bit less emotionally charged and more clear and well communicated so that we have those foundational things taken care of and can move to more intimate spaces. So if you and your partner are not feeling like you have the kind of soft, intimate connection that you're looking for, but you're dealing with more resentment, it's really important to get clarity on those expectations and be able to have great conversations about that. Another reason why this is so important is because you are developing and building teamwork mentality, and you are going to need that for the rest of your parenting journey. When you are able to see yourselves as a team, it becomes the team against a problem. Not player one versus player two, or wife versus husband, or partner one versus partner two. No, you are a team. And by building this clarity and communication in, you are developing that teamwork. And I promise you, you're going to need it in the years to come. This also requires good communication. And we are constantly growing in this area, okay? Many of us do not have formal training in communication, even though it's the backbone of so much of what we do, and it deeply impacts our relationships. Developing communication means learning, one, how to make sense of what you're thinking and feeling in your own brain, and then translating that into a way that you can communicate that effectively with your partner. Now, I have some earlier podcasts on internal and external processing, love languages, and other things that hit on communication. This is one of my favorite topics, and it's something that I'm always uniquely going into with my clients to help them figure out where their gaps and obstacles are in communicating and how they can get better at that. Again, to be a team, again, to have more clarity. And this is going to honestly hit different areas of your life. When you have good communication about job roles and responsibilities, you're also going to have better communication about your needs, your boundaries, and hint, hint, it's going to lead to even better communication in the bedroom also, because that skill is highly transferable. The other reason I'm talking to you, mama, who's feeling a little overwhelmed and like she's lost herself in some ways, is that creating this job description kind of takes you out of the 24/7, always grinding, always needed, always on call mentality. And it doesn't mean that, you're not going to have a rude awakening in the middle of the night or something go unplanned, but it creates a little space and gives you time and energy to think about being a human outside of being mom. This is going to be important for you as you continue to grow and evolve. Your kids deserve to see this fuller version of you. Your partner benefits from a fuller version of you. Your friendships grow when you have this fuller version of you, and it really just builds your confidence. And so again, I'm not saying that as soon as you create a job description, you're going to have 4 hours of free time every evening. But what I'm saying is it creates a little distance from kind of feeling like a blob that's just continually on call and needed and doesn't have these transitions in your life. I want you to be able to have transitions and to see these different facets of who you are. Another part of having a job description is that it forces you and your partner to prioritize and let go together. A lot of people are drowning and feeling overwhelmed because they're making everything a priority. Specifically in this day and age, when we are constantly comparing ourselves to other people online and wanting to match up to what they're doing or saying or how they're looking or feeling. But when we get clear about what needs done to support the family and home that we truly value, then you're able to put those priorities into place and also let go of the things that actually aren't that important to you. I bet that if you take some time to look at this, you're going to find that some of the things that you're stressing out over are actually things that you should be letting go. Here's another way to think about this. I have quite a few friends who have gotten divorces in the last few years, and something I hear from them is that they're getting more of the shared parenting than they ever did when they were in their marriage. Their partner is forced to take on some of the responsibility. They have to learn how to handle the schedules and the planning and the RSVPs and the doctor's appointments in a way that they never had to before. What would you do if you and your partner got divorced or separated? And I'm not telling you to call that in or that is the next move. I'm saying this because I want you to think about what in that thought would be helpful for you to do now to save the marriage, to enrich the marriage, to make it so that you can have a happy life together. What can you do now that you would be forced to do if you separated? Creating a stay-at-home job description is one of my favorite things to do with my clients. I do this sometimes when I'm doing private coaching, specifically with a stay-at-home mom, and sometimes when I'm doing couples coaching with a couple who needs to get clear about those expectations. I want to make this really, really simple for you to get started on today and have the conversation with your partner and be working towards a stay-at-home parent job description that you can be excited about and that you can feel really proud of. So here's what you're going to do. You can either go to postpartumtogether.com and go to the blog and look for the post creating a stay-at-home mom job description, or you can find me on Instagram, postpartum together, and send me a DM with the word at home. At home in my DMs is going to automate a process so that you can shoot me your email address and I will send you the template. Now, what you're going to find in this is that I'm going to make a case again for why this is so important. And then step 1 is a brain dump. You're going to brain dump the daily things that need to be done to care for the baby and to care for the home. Next, you're going to do the same thing, but for those weekly or monthly tasks, because we don't want to get those overlooked. They can add up over time. After the brain dump, you're going to organize. You're going to go through and designate what makes sense to be an expectation of the at-home parent and what falls into that gray area. Those things that are done during times when both parents are present and, quote, off the clock from work, but of course, we're never off the clock from parenting. What I really want you to do is for you and your partner to both take that brain dump. Hopefully, you've worked on it together. And for you to both take the brain dump and go through and give your opinion and your insight on what makes sense to be part of the at-home parent job description. Then you're going to compare this. And this is not going to start a fight. This is simply to give you a foundation and give you a place to talk back and forth about what is feasible, what are expectations that are realistic, and what is going to create the best system of teamwork in your home. Side note here, I love highlighters, and I recommend that you have 2 different colors of highlighters. One that you go through the list and you highlight what makes sense for the at-home parent description, and the other is what you think falls into the gray area. Now, after you've organized, it's time to create. I have given you an example at-home parent job description and also a blank template where you and your partner can plug in the hours that you are on as the at-home parent and what those responsibilities are that fall into that time frame. Lastly, I give you an area to write out all of the gray area tasks, and this is going to give you a really great place to talk about how you split that load between the two of you. Now, in this template, a couple of other things that you're going to get. I'm going to link to a podcast episode that I did about 1.5 years ago about having weekly business meetings to increase your partnership in your relationship. And this has been revolutionary for many of my clients. I want this to revolutionize your family, your relationship, and your home too. So you want to make sure if you haven't listened to that episode that you go back to that episode. And then I also have a blog and YouTube on the 5 skills that come from being an at-home parent, because I want you to not think that you have completely lost all of your career skills or that everything that you're doing only applies to the home. At-home parents develop some very, very impressive skills, and I want you to have that in mind from the start. If you're going through this and it feels a little overwhelming, or maybe you're not sure where to start, or possibly you and your partner have already started down a road and it doesn't feel good, but you're not sure how to pivot, I can help you. Remember, you can always schedule an exploration call with me, either through my website, my Instagram, anywhere that you find me. I'm on Calendly, calendly.com/Chelsea Skaggs. And really what we do here is I'm going to ask you a few questions, and my goal is to help you get crystal clear about what you want and what is standing in your way. And then regardless of whether or not we choose to coach together one-on-one or one-on-two with you and your partner, whether or not that happens, you're going to walk away from an exploration call with clearer insight on what you want, what's standing in your way, and I'm going to give you my insight to the first couple of steps you can take to get closer to that. This is truly invaluable if you really do want to make progress and growth in these areas of your life. If you enjoyed this episode, I would be so grateful if you take a minute to help spread the word. As a small business owner, shares and reviews go a long way. So, share this episode with a friend, share it on your social media, and please leave a review if you haven't done so. This helps these messages get to more mamas, and you guys, that's how we change the world.